is Valley Voice Editorial, and we're here today to talk about all of our favorite memories of the Hearties Family Reunion, fondly called HFR. And I'm here with some friends. I'm Marg from California, and I'm joined today by
Dawn from North Carolina.
Hi, Hearties. It's been a while. Janette from East Lansing, Michigan.
And Lori from Mobile, Alabama.
And we have with us a special guest today on Heart to Hearties, Cindy Gervais. Nice to have you.
Thank you,
Cindy.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Where
Thank
do you hail from, Cindy? We know you're a New England Heartie, but where?
I am a Heartie, New England Heartie, from Freeport, Maine.
Yay.
Oh, so all of our LL Bean love goes to you and your tax base.
That's right.
And literally every Heartie is like, when can I come visit? That's what I'm
Yes.
thinking.
Right.
We have a guest room.
Maine, yes,
I'm
please.
ready for a lobster roll today. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, we invited
board.
Cindy because she's been a frequent attendee at HFRs. Which ones have you been to, Cindy? How many? And
I've been to 4. I was there in 2019 for HFR 5, and then there wasn't the 2 that weren't happening, and then 22, 23, and 24.
holy cow, amazing. All right. And didn't get in this year. We'll miss you.
I did not, but I'm just very grateful to have been to the ones that I have been to. So,
Oh, that's very gracious. Thank you so much.
and we'll cross my fingers for future ones.
Yeah,
Right,
we will
that's
cross our
right.
fingers for more seasons, more Hearties Family Reunions. So, Lori, Dawn, and Janette all were attendees at the very first HFR.
Amazing. Yeah.
So it's so cool. I came along after season 2. So I was a Netflix watcher, but they were there from the very beginning. And so I wanted you guys to just talk a little bit about how this all started. Not go into depth on the history, but and what that first one was really like, because that must have been kind of mind-blowing.
I remember the first time the announcement came out, and because it was in a landscape where there weren't any fan events, like right now they're everywhere, right? They're happening all the time. You kind of expect them to happen. Back then, it was like one of the first of its kind. So I don't think any of us even, I don't remember like anybody teasing it, or it just all of a sudden was announced, and it was like, holy cow. It was like Hearties were shot out of a cannon, and we were all like,
They,
how do we get there?
they said there was going to be an announcement on that Friday afternoon,
Okay.
but we had no clue what that announcement was going to
Mhm.
be.
Yeah.
Well, I was not in Facebook at that point either. So
Oh.
I didn't know what was going on. They had some events that they sent like hearts to someone, and there are frames and stuff like that. I didn't even know about that. I was only on Twitter at that point. So I don't even know how I knew what
about
was
it.
going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I didn't.
How did you?
But
Somebody
I
must have posted it over on Twitter or something.
it should have. Yeah, that's the only way I would. I don't know if I would ever have any information about that. But then it was like, oh, okay. So I sent. I think it was an email. Someone was like, oh,
Yes.
I want
You had to mail a check.
I had to mail a check to
Yes.
Joyce Keeler.
I
Yes.
remember
At
going
her
to
home
the,
address.
I legit went to the UPS store that night at like midnight. I am not even joking. Because it was like, it wasn't clear like how many they would take, how many
Yeah,
would give it.
no.
Well, they
And
said
I went at
100.
like midnight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
there was
100.
something about that.
Yeah, no, I got an email saying, "Oh, your submission was like we already have 100 people, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't go." And I'm
Yeah.
like, and then like 2 to 3 days later, I got another email saying, "Oh, they're gonna open up with whoever wants to be there,"
Yeah.
which I think it was about 120 people, something like that, that was there. But I'm like, that's how I got there the first time. I'm like, and I didn't have any clue. I didn't have any friends there, meaning I knew people from our Twitter party when we were doing that for the season. But that's the only kind of friends that I had. I was like, I'm just going blind. But yeah, it was really special for
My
that.
printer was broken, and so I had to beg my sister to use her printer, and I was trying to be very subtle about what I was doing because I knew they were going to think I was absolutely nuts.
Right.
I never did any of the fan stuff, so I was very hesitant. But finally, my sister was like, "Why are you using my printer at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning?" So I had to fess up.
Well,
But
I
I got
do know from
got in the
talking
mail quick.
to, I'm sorry.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead.
I just had to get in the mail quick because I was afraid I wasn't going to get in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do know from talking with Bobby Schutte and Joyce Keeler, who were two of the original admins, and they're both here in California. So I do know they started hosting Hearties parties with, and Brian would attend. And that they started talking to him. Now, and of course, being in California and particularly in San Diego, where we have Comic-Con and have had it for, many years, the idea of a fan event wasn't that crazy. And so they proposed it to him. And, that's what the miracle of the Hearties was, is that Brian just kept following the Hearties, kept following the fans with their initiatives, whether it was on Twitter or to have a fan event or whatever. And it must have seemed massive to him at the time. So, okay, so let's talk about this first event that they organized. What was it? What was it like?
Well, it was
Wet.
special. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like the first season.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
different versus like season 1 for the show. It was almost like that same vibe for the first one, and then going for the season, second, third, fourth, etc. All of a sudden, it got some. I don't even know what it was organized, but now it's more like robust, and we have activities and things like that. It was just one day, and we were in a hotel that didn't really accommodate everyone, but people were there, and we went to, like, was it a basement or it was
It
like
was a meeting room.
Oh, there was a meeting room there. Yeah.
yeah
But
on
it
that
was
Thursday.
Friday.
about 3 sizes too small.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
this
that
in
was
Langley or in Vancouver?
It was in Langley.
Langley.
Okay,
Yeah,
Langley. Okay, so
yeah.
let me just set the scene a little bit. It was January,
Mhm.
January
correct?
16th, it was my birthday.
2016.
Yeah.
January, and that was that before season 2 had
They,
aired?
no, they were filming season 3 when we
Yeah.
were there.
Okay, all right.
So
So they were filming, so it was
Yeah,
after.
Jack was hanging out outside the schoolhouse is where we were left, where we
I
Hearties
think
were.
that's where it was. Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
had seen season 2, and
Mhm.
yeah, we were on
Wow.
that cliffhanger when we went.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
Okay.
fact that they were filming in January is like mind blowing to think about now.
No,
'cause
that
they-
has to be
It was
because you
cold.
went to the Highcroft Mansion and season 2
Mhm.
features the Thatcher's
Oh,
home, which
right.
is the Highcroft
Yeah.
Mansion. So it was a single day event, was what it was?
Well,
Well-
not that you were talking about, because the tea, and I didn't do the tea, you guys did, Lori and Janette, but that was on, was it
Thursday afternoon.
Thursday? Yeah, and then
Friday night was like a meet and greet.
mhm.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was the,
who was there? There was some of the kids were there on
yeah,
Friday.
the meet and greet
Yeah.
party on Friday night was kind of more just like mingle vibe. There wasn't a lot of, it was just kind of for Hearties. And to be honest, it was great because there were fewer organized groups at that time. Like there wasn't a New England Heartie that was that, or like you guys are really organized. There wasn't yet those really core kind of groups that they got there and were like, oh, they all knew each other. We were all, I mean, that might have been the first time Lori and I met. Definitely
was.
the first time Dawn and I met. So it was really helpful for us to just kind of mingle and get to know each other that night. And then, yeah, they surprised us with Mitchell Cummin, who played Gabe. And then Mamie came that
Mamie,
night,
like
who
Ruth.
plays Rosalie. Yeah. So, and then
And Brian Bird was there, and Michael Landon Jr. and Janette Oke came in too. I just remember
Yeah.
Brian and Michael standing on chairs trying to
I do
talk
too.
to all of us.
That's what I remember, is because I was watching at home on what was the social media platform at that point? It wasn't MySpace. It was like, what was it?
Was it Periscope?
What's Periscope?
Oh, right, right. Oh my
I
goodness.
did not leave my house the entire weekend.
That's
I was
funny.
glued to
That's
Periscope, which
funny.
I obviously don't even remember the name of it now. And I remember them standing on chairs and the whole, I mean, this is how like, you know, not, I don't want to say primitive, but it was a grassroots
Yeah.
Mhm.
organization thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get enough. Okay, and so and Lori Loughlin at that point, well, throughout her filming time, she would fly back and forth from LA. And so she wasn't available on the set day. So that's why she did the
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 tea
tea.
tea.
with Janette Oke at the Highcroft Mansion,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That was really amazing. Okay. And do you guys have any recollections? Were either of you at the tea? You both were?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was.
Okay. All right. So do you have any
Yeah.
memories of the tea?
Well,
I
I don't.
remember
Lori
recognizing Jeanette. I recognize the name. I remember meeting you there at the tea, and several others.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember your name from Facebook and Twitter. So
I do remember that Janette Oke shared a lot that day, and I remember feeling like I was going to church. Like she
yeah,
just brought so much of her heart that day, and I just
Yes.
remember just sitting there soaking up every minute. And then Lori took the time to go around to each table, and she sat down and chat with everybody and took some photos, and yeah,
great.
it was really special.
All right. And then set day was what?
It was
under a tent.
A
In
whirlwind.
the rain, right?
rain. It was really kind of a miserable day, but we were
Waiting
really
here.
excited. I remember when we were in the table and the tables, I don't know if when you did the catering in at the circus, because we were at the circus for that event with the tent, and there was barrels of things for catching water in between the tents. And
There was a
I
waterfall in the
oh
scene
yeah.
between two tents.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
bad. But the thing is, I remember when Aaron, Dan, the core people, and we were in this tent with walls, and so we didn't know until they opened the curtain and these guys are getting in. And I just remember that whole like being astounded. Like I was just like, oh, they're real. They're real. I was just this is my first, kind of a attempt to do any fan event at all for me.
Yeah.
This was my first time, and I just remember that no matter what the weather was, even with the waterfalls,
Yeah.
it was just so like I cannot even kind of describe the vibe or the
Feeling.
emotional thing that you kind of witnessed, at that time. And then they did a panel, and and everyone was just, we were so excited. Lots of joy and clapping, and there's just a lot.
Yeah, for me, the weather, like it didn't bother us at all. And I
No.
remember us being in full winter coats and
Mhm.
everything. I mean, it was cold, but for me, the moment I remember the most, because it was the first, we had zero expectations. In my
Right.
mind,
Right.
I thought maybe there'd be like 5 or 6 of the
Mhm.
actors. And we got to the tent and they had printed out these really cool call sheets. And
Mhm.
I remember looking at the list, and it was literally everyone, and even actors I didn't expect, like Marcus Rasner, who was only on it, was just a guest star. Like Mark, no, was Mark Humphrey listed? That might have been before him.
No.
But there were actors listed that I just didn't, and I was like, I remember like maybe holding it up to the people at my table, like, are all these people going to
Yeah.
be here? Like I could
Yeah.
not believe it. Like far exceeded
They
my
blew your
expectations.
mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you went around, they printed out posters and the group went around the tables in the saloon to have the
Mhm.
posters.
Right. Yeah,
Walking
that
up
was like
that hill to Hope Valley was something else. I will
Yeah.
always remember that moment. Walking up that muddy, slippery hill. But man,
And did you get to go around to the rest of the set or not?
oh yeah.
Oh, you
Mhm.
did. Okay.
Yeah, some people had the opportunity. I didn't, but
Okay.
well, maybe I did. I don't remember now
I
what
remember
that
you and I
was.
out at the church, Dawn.
Oh,
We were
that's
at
right.
least at the
That's right.
church.
Were
Yeah, we
y'all
were like,
there when we sang Amazing Grace? Were y'all at the church when everybody sang Amazing Grace?
mm-mm,
Oh,
I was not, no.
that
mm-mm.
was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But
That
in the
was
saloon, we had
spontaneous, right?
Yeah, yeah.
mhm. At
Beautiful.
the saloon we had, you're talking about the posters and just all of the actors. We could kind of talk to them as they were signing the poster. So, but that was my birthday. And so I have my posters, just a lot of happy birthday, happy
Oh
birthday.
gosh.
But that
There's
was
my poster right behind me.
oh nice. Yeah. But
Amazing.
yeah, it was just a great event to meet others like-minded, knowing that we love the show. And it's like Margie just said, it was grassroots. It was just, there's no expectations. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go because I can,
Mhm.
and that's
And
what
it should be noted that none of us were on that original planning team for that first
Correct,
one. So
right.
not at all.
shout out to all of them and
Yes.
all that
Yeah.
hard work they
Well,
did.
Started it.
Yes.
And they were
During the
flying
first
by and they
one.
were doing the first one. And so it had to be nerve-wracking for them.
Totally.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they paved
absolutely.
the way for all the iterations of it since
Absolutely.
Yeah,
9
from those
later, which
humble
is great.
beginnings. Cindy, had you
Yeah.
heard any of those stories about the first one?
I've heard because Donna Cohen went to the
Oh,
first
yes.
one.
Yes,
Oh,
she
yes.
did.
Yeah.
So she's told us stories about the cold and the rain and
Mhm.
freezing, but she she has very fond memories of it though, but she
Mhm.
loved it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that the continuous piece of it is that it's a more intimate gathering of Hearties. It just can't be huge. I don't know what your definition of huge is because of the set tour and how many it can accommodate and all that kind of thing. So it's just a really lovely kind of more family feeling than I think a lot of fan conventions are.
Mm.
So Lori, you recently did a little bit of a dive. Why don't you give us a little flavor of what happened from those humble beginnings? And because we're on how many now are we on?
This is our ninth, right?
Ninth. Wow. Okay.
Ninth.
That's why I feel like we have to have more seasons because we have to have a 10th HFR. Like
At
Yeah.
least. That's
Yeah.
right.
Even number.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can't leave it at 9. That's
No,
just,
No, it's just
it's an odd number.
against the
okay.
rules.
So Lori, walk us through it.
Well, started HFR1. I think we had a little over 100, maybe 120 people there. Then
Okay.
we liked it so much that we did it again the same year in December 2016.
Oh,
We're back in Vancouver. This time, this time we were at a different hotel, a much bigger hotel, and had almost 500 Hearties there. I
Wow.
mean, our numbers like tripled from
Yes.
HFR1.
Yeah.
And the event expanded to be full things Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. So we kind of got the format that we're still kind of following. That's when we finally took on that format. And then we had so much fun. We did it again in 2017 and 2018 and 2019, HFR 3, 4, and 5. 3, we went back to Langley and we're much closer for the set tour and everything.
Yes.
Then 4 and 5, we needed a bigger hotel, I think. So that's why I think we went to Burnaby, which was
Right.
kind of mid city in Vancouver. Then when the world kind of paused, so did we have to pause. But we worked and we were able to bring it back as Hope Valley Days in 2022. And we were back to similar where we were at HFR1, where we had the full day on set under a tent. This
Yeah,
time it was
seriously.
sunny, no rain.
That was gorgeous.
Gorgeous
It was a
that
day.
day was
beautiful
so
day.
gorgeous. Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. And now we were able to bring back the original format for 2023 and 2024. And we have 2025 coming up.
Wow. Which was the one where we all had the stomach bug?
HFR2.
Yeah, and
We don't talk
Jeanette
about
was,
Bruno. We don't
I was
talk
No.
gonna say
I
Jeanette was
escaped it.
the
Thank God.
I
I
don't
didn't get it
remember.
either.
Jeanette got it
Did you have it,
first.
Dawn?
You were the first,
Mm-mm.
or
Oh.
one of the first, Jeanette. And then you were just, I mean, it was a 24-hour bug, and then it just
Yeah.
kept going.
Oh yeah,
Did
she
you
was
have it,
patient
Mark?
zero.
Oh yeah, I had it. I
Oh,
was supposed to
I guess
do,
I was the only one that
I was
escaped.
a bus volunteer. I was a registration volunteer and I was a bus volunteer. And I was supposed to do both tours and I couldn't do the afternoon because
I
I was,
guess I took over because I did both the bus tours.
oh, maybe you took my spot, Lori. And I don't
Yeah.
even think yeah, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, the
Awesome.
good news was it was only 24 hours for almost everybody who got it. The
Yeah.
bad news was some people got it like on cast day or
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
my
and then
roommate got
yeah,
sick that day,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm going through it. Like, where did you touch stuff? I need to wipe it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But I didn't get sick, so that was a miracle
Well,
for.
Yeah.
then-
So our
And then it
less good.
snowed.
Oh yes, we
on
did have that
Monday.
day one,
Chelsea
right?
and her first snow. Do you remember
Mhm.
that?
Yes.
That was
Yes.
Chelsea's first snow from Puerto
Puerto
Rico. I've never
Rico.
seen
Mhm.
snow. Was that HFR two?
That was HFR too.
Oh wow, I do
I remember
the
telling
snow.
Hearties because we had Hearties from all over the world, as we always do.
Mhm.
And some were so freaked out about driving. I was like, find yourself a Midwest or Northeast Heartie. They'll
That's what
drive
we
you.
did. That's what we did.
Yeah.
The Aussies had fun too. There were a couple of
Yeah.
Aussies there, and they had fun in the snow.
So great, Cindy. Did you meet a bunch of Aussies when you
I
came to?
did. I did. Karen Carnes was there at HFR because
Was,
she's been to
yeah.
like 4 of them too. And I think that was her first one too. And that was the year I think she brought the Vegemite there because she
Oh
always
yeah.
brings
Oh
stuff
right.
Oh yeah.
from Australia for people to try. So I think that was the first year of Vegemite.
You
And
always draw a lot of attention at those Aussies. Yeah.
she
Very
she
good.
did. Well, yes, she did. Yeah, she's a character.
That's one of my favorite memories of HFR. I think it was 3. Was I got seated at a table next to some Greek Hearties.
Oh
And we
wow.
ended up spending the whole rest of the weekend together.
Oh,
And
nice.
this was amazing. I would never have met these folks. And it's just been cool to watch their lives on Facebook ever since. But it's just that sense, that feeling of arriving, traveling pretty much by yourself or with another hearty friend, and then suddenly your whole world opens up. You find something in common with people from distant places. It was really, we ended up going to okay, now I can't think of how many acres is it at the restaurant. What
6
was
acres.
it, 26
acres.
6.
6.
6 acres? That's
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah,
thought it was
that's it.
26. All right. 6 acres, the restaurant where they it's the restaurant that Jack and Tom are thrown out of in season 2, the bar, and it's
Yep.
a great restaurant, and they have the poutine, a really delicious poutine there and stuff, and so we went there with the Greek Hearties. I think that was the first time I'd been, and I have great memories of that.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
So
So can
I'm just curious, Cindy, when did you, like you were on in 2019, so that was 5. Why did you decide to go? Was it like, it was your first, it was the first time that you entered, or
Yes,
it's the
yes.
first
I
time that
was
you were
really,
accepted?
I was a newbie watching When Calls the Heart. And my backstory is that I happened to be in Florida. I brought my parents to Florida for a month for vacation. And it was best if we had separate living rooms to watch TV and I was a big Home and Family watcher back then
Oh,
stuff. And so I'd be drinking my coffee, watching them in the morning. And that's when, I was watching and hearing, Dan was leaving and things going on with Lori and stuff. And I had seen previews, I had seen teasers because I watch Hallmark all the time and always have. So I had seen some of the teasers and some of the previews and stuff, but never really got interested in it until watching Home and Family and hearing all that. And then I was just like, I think I got to try this show out and watch it. And
nice.
once I did, I was
Yeah.
hooked. And I was like, when I get back home, I've got to watch more of this. And I got back home and I binged watched like season 1 through season 5 just to catch
Wow.
up, just to
Yeah.
catch up. And
Sure.
then I don't know how Well, I think because the talk about Twitter and everything, and tweeting with the cast members during the episodes and stuff. So I think that's when I joined Twitter. And but somehow I don't even remember how I found out about the Hearties official Facebook page and joined that. And then I saw the announcement about it and I thought, oh, what the heck? You know, I'm just I'll never get picked. I'll just put in for it. And then lo and behold, I was, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this and stuff. So I went out all by myself, and my first long distance trip by myself. So, and I've never
Oh,
looked back.
nice.
I've never looked back since. So,
That's
yeah.
amazing. So did
Yeah.
you
That's-
meet all of the people in the New England group? You hadn't met
No,
any of
I
them
was
at that point?
I was the only one there. I was actually, Patty sat me at a seat with a bunch of Wisconsin people,
Oh,
and I did have one other mother daughter. The little girl was about 10 years old at the time, from Alaska, North Pole, Alaska.
oh, really?
And funny story about that, because when we were waiting for the bus to go to Jamestown to the movie set, I noticed I just recognized the sweatshirt, and I said, "That's an LL Bean sweatshirt." And she's like, "It is." She says, "That's the only place I order the clothes." She goes, "They're so warm. That's the only thing that keeps us warm in Alaska." So
Oh,
that
wow.
was an interesting little story. But yeah, I just met all of these very interesting people when we had a room with, this month, just a really fun table with Wisconsin people. So got to talk with them and meet them and enjoy their company all weekend and stuff. But yeah, and it wasn't until I got back, and I think after joining Twitter, that I must have posted something or made a comment on somebody's post or something. And Donna was the one that commented. She commented back to me and said, "Oh, you should join our New England Hearties group."
Oh,
So
nice.
that's when I did, and
Yeah.
been a member of them ever since. And we
So
just
cool.
keep getting bigger and stronger
Cool.
and more
That's
vocal.
great.
For those Hearties who don't know, Home and Family was a Hallmark kind of morning talk show.
Yeah.
It was daily, right? Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And it featured all of the Hallmark stars. So it really was it fueled the Hearties, it fueled the passion about the show, because for whatever reason, networks, skipped, these incredible interviews that we were craving with our stars. And then the other thing that fueled it was that they had audiences. And so they would put the word out, and people would literally fly in from around the world.
Jeanette.
I was going to say Janette.
Yes, Jeanette, that's
That's
how I
funny.
met Jeanette. That's,
Well,
I was driving up from San Diego to Los Angeles, so it wasn't too far for me, but people were taking off from work, and exorbitant plane fees to jump on a plane like a day
Yeah.
later,
I
sure
did one
this.
time, but Janette, I don't know how many times
How many
you went
times
there,
you went?
but
I went a couple times. But there was
lost
one
count.
Heartie who she flew from France.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Just for Home and Family.
Yes.
She
For
flew
one
in,
day. And then
went to
she
the
left.
thing, and the next day flew home.
Our
Wow.
our Greek Heartie friends did the same. So I mean, it was literally international people flying at the drop of a hat, because you did not get much notice.
No.
And that was an incredible blessing, and it really enabled us to meet each other. And then, and then the regional groups were kind of setting up. So that's how this whole grassroots thing came to be. So again, let's go back to talking about those Hearties moments at the reunion. Dawn and Jeanette and Lori and Cindy, what are your best memories about connecting with Hearties at the reunions?
so many. Oh my word. I mean, well, with Jeanette, that was an epic epic moment, because we
Friendship
were
forged from the beginning. I love
yeah,
it.
exactly. Well, we were tweeting, and so we knew each other with our handles, our Twitter handles.
Right.
And then we're in line to go to a bus, because we were not
bus, yeah.
assigned. It was just, we're just packing into this one bus, and it was just like, I said, Jeanette, and Jeanette it's like, and I was like, Aunt Dawn.
Yeah, it wasn't
Dawn.
registering. And I was like, you're Aunt on. That's her Twitter handle. And 10 years later, so let that be a lesson to you, Hearties. You can be waiting in
right.
line for the bus and find a 10-year
you never-
friendship you didn't know.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Exactly. Yeah, but there's so many, Lizzie and there's so many for the first one. And
I
then
think the testimonials are always a
mhm,
highlight of the
yeah.
HFR weekend when people talk about what the show has meant to them.
Mhm.
Anybody recall any of those or?
My
So
favorite,
There's a-
my favorite thing to do, and I say this to everybody I talk to about this event, is on set day. Because when we're on the planning team, we forget about those moments for first timers
Mhm.
sometime where it's like, I love parking myself right by the saloon when Hearties are getting off the bus, because their faces, the first time you are stepping into the set of your favorite TV show is just, it's just magical. And I just like standing there in silence and watching their faces
Yeah.
light up when they walk into town.
Mhm, mhm.
That's when I'm like, now I
Yeah.
remember why all this work is worth it. It's so
Right.
Yeah.
so
All the
special.
time.
Yeah.
yeah, Cindy, do you remember that moment?
I do. And the meet and greet, the first person I saw was Janette when I got off the bus. And I had remembered because I had started following her at some point too, in between,
Yeah.
just getting adjust, getting new to the show and getting acclimated to it and everything. And she was the first person I went over to. And I remember I was like starstruck. And I was like, oh,
Aw.
Jeanette, I follow you. She goes, which account?
What?
Which account?
Oh, I know.
So
It's
I
a
was like, oh,
problem.
I follow
too.
you and stuff. And she's like, which one?
That's
So
funny.
yeah, and it was just, it's like a kid in a candy store. It's like and I think it was set up for Christmas too that year in 2019.
Oh, it might have
Mm.
been.
Christmas movie. So it's one where they had the Christmas festival and everything. So you had all the
That's
booths
right,
and
all
stuff
tree.
Was.
and
yes.
everything and stuff. So, and you still had you had the Christmas tree in the middle and everything. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm really here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you remember the
what makes
first
you
building you went into? Like,
Oh,
where did you go
probably
first?
Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
Probably Queen of Hearts. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
why would you go back again and again, Cindy?
It's just a magical place. I mean, I just, it feels like home. Um, when you see it on TV and then you get to be there and you can pick out all these little things that you see on TV and say, oh, I've seen this, I get to see it in person and vice versa. Once you're there and then you go home and watch the season and you see all the episodes and we're like, oh yeah, I stood there or I sat in that booth in the Queen of Hearts or yeah. So, or the church and sitting in the pews or the student seats or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. So, in the row houses, when you get to visit the row houses too and stuff. So it's just an incredible place. It's just a magical feeling once, to see it on TV, but to physically be there is just, it's just just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Mm.
I always call it the happy hearty bubble when you're there.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
And then
I-
every year there's always different sets now and stuff. So you've got,
Yeah.
you've got the library and the nickels and dimes, and you've got all new sets and all to see all the time and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah. And one year with the row houses, I think one of the years was set up as Nathan and Allie's house.
Yes.
It wasn't Elizabeth's house or whatever. So yeah.
Mhm.
So just to see the different sets and stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've done the buses so much from HFR2 and on that I'll get people that walk in. I was on your bus. I was on your bus.
I love it.
Bus and that first bus and at HFR2, we had so much fun. We were singing songs, we were doing trivia, and I love being on the bus heading out to set, especially with the newbies. And you're like, what are you looking forward to most? And just to see the excitement on their faces as they're anticipating seeing that for the first time. It's really cool.
Yeah. The trivia questions are fun on the bus too, because the Hearties know so
Oh.
many of the answers. It's incredible. They
Seriously,
just
we cannot
whip them,
stump them. We
whip
can't.
them
No.
right out there, and it's like, wow.
Very true.
Okay, what else? What about Vancouver as a destination? What do you enjoy about Vancouver?
What's not to love?
Ah,
One word.
beautiful.
It truly is. It's just such a spectacular mountain ocean setting. Yeah, a very warm place, very welcoming. From the moment I particularly remember have a lot of happy memories of just arriving at the airport. The airport is stunning.
Mhm.
Yes.
They have the huge totems and the waterfalls, and you're just sort of immediately immersed in, their culture, and your head is on a swivel because you're just like, is that a Heartie? Is that a Heartie? Is that a
Yeah.
Heartie? You're just like trying to spy who it is, and you could almost pick them out.
Yes,
You
Yeah.
totally.
Oh,
really
yeah.
can.
I always love hearing Hardy's stories about customs because Hardy's tend to get so nervous about what they tell the customs agents, the border agents.
Right.
I'm like, it's a TV show town. Like if you say you're coming to a fan event for a TV show, it's not going to surprise them. But
Totally.
I remember the first year I met a friend in Oregon and we drove up and they asked us, we just were really general and we said, we're going to meet friends in Vancouver. And they were like, where did you meet these friends? And then we're like, oh crap, we have to say, we're on the internet. We have
It sounds so suspect.
know.
It does.
Oh, wow.
It does. But I always love hearing. I love Hardy's
Yeah,
custom
I mean,
stories.
and
It's so
I
funny.
remember meeting Sherry Belafonte on the airport shuttle, and then again subsequently in the gift shop where she seemed to be buying everything in the gift shop. Literally everything in the gift shop. She was buying gifts for everyone, which is so classic Sherry Belafonte.
Yes.
And then last year, I'm trying to remember the name of the woman from Puerto Rico who I met on you always meet another Heartie on the airport shuttle. And that's like
Mhm.
the excitement, just like, it's just so cool,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
just amazing.
hot tip parties. Wear some one calls the heart gear when you
Yeah,
travel because then you can pick each other out.
We
Yeah.
always
That's
we
right,
always
that's
look
right.
for that on the planes because
Yeah.
we can never get direct flights from here and stuff. So
Yeah,
we have
New
to
England,
change
yeah.
flights somewhere. So we're always looking in the airport or
Yeah,
something, looking for other Hearties. Yeah.
Why
yeah.
don't we get those airport selfies, and and then when you arrive and you're looking considerably more bedraggled, but you're
Yeah.
like effusive, and
Yeah, the plane, not a plane selfies. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're in the group.
What has been your favorite sightseeing thing in Vancouver? Anybody?
I always love every trip I tried to do a walk around the seawall at Stanley Park. And I'll just take a half a day, walk really slow, take my camera. Yeah, Stanley Park is definitely my favorite. So pretty.
Love it.
The name of it is escaping me. We went Squamish, the gondola
Sky?
ride. The
See the
sky,
sky.
yeah.
See
See
the
the
sky.
sky.
Mhm.
And just driving up there is beautiful, and the See the Sky
Gorgeous.
Highway, and then the gondola ride is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, we went a couple years ago, Lori, and we were this close to getting to the Virgin River, the bar, Jack's Bar, but there were just too many cars, and we couldn't get in quickly enough to get back to the McKinnises
Yeah.
or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember what we were getting back for, but yeah, there's lots of exploration and fun things. Anybody else? Cindy, do you have a favorite Vancouver spot?
Well, we've done the same thing. It's between Stanley Park, Granville Island, going down to Gastown.
Yeah.
Last year, we spent a lot of time in Langley itself. We
Love
stayed
Langley.
at
Nice.
we
Yeah.
stayed at the Princess and the Pea, and
There
we
you go.
did a lot of visiting around Langley and Abbotsford and whatnot. So we did a lot of sightseeing around that area last year.
Right. So when you're a Hallmark movie fan, Langley is like eye candy because literally everywhere you look
We
Mhm.
did. We had to find all
Are
kinds
these
of
venues
different.
that you've seen a gazillion times. So that's a really fun, and it's just such a quaint little town. And the admins, we have to get into town and get our Nanaimo bars. Is it Nanaimo or
Yes,
Nanaimo?
Nanaimo.
All these years, I still don't know how to pronounce this. Nanaimo bar. I just know how to eat them. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I had to Granville Island. The first time we went to Granville Island, I had to, and it's not one calls the heart, but I had to get a profiterole
Yeah.
from
Yes.
Aaron and Tyler's profiterole.
Oh, yeah.
Love
Nice.
it. And yeah, a few years ago, Chris McNally gave us restaurant
Yes.
places
Donuts.
to go to, a donut place at Granville. And then
Yeah, we had to hit that too.
Andrea
Yes.
Brooks also has given us a list, but that was a number of years ago. So
Yeah.
I think I know there were Langley restaurants on that list too. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of fun things. Okay, what strikes you? What cast and crew moments do you remember most from the various HFRs?
Mine was the first one. And I was going to Dan and Aaron, and we chatted, but someone was interrupting them, and they wanted to introduce someone else, so I was kind of pushed away, and Aaron took me back and said, "Did you get a picture?" And I'm like, "I didn't." And I have the most, to me it was, the picture is kind of normal stuff. It's just Dan and Aaron, but the picture for me is more important because of what they did for me, just to make sure that I was,
The kindness.
getting what I needed to do. Yeah. So that was a great moment. And that just speaks to their heart, and, and she knows what's going on, even though there's just a lot of
Present. She's
chaos.
very
And
present.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So that's mine.
At HFR1, I remember we ran into Loretta Walsh and Joanna Newmarch. We were at lunch.
Mm.
They were just getting there for their afternoon thing, and we were just, oh my gosh, there you are.
Oh,
That was,
very
and they were
fun.
very, very sweet.
That was the Flomo
Yeah, that
moment.
was,
Yeah.
yes, that was
Yeah.
a really cool moment. There was one with Peter DeLuise on set, the director, because
Right.
I loved him on 21 Jump Street way back in the day. And I told him, I said, you were my favorite. Doug was my favorite. He said, no, 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 no. Everybody loved Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. And I said, no, 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 no. Doug was cute and Doug was funny. And he put his arm around me. He said, somebody take a picture of me with this lion woman.
That's funny.
Buddy.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Back in the day, we used to have the directors and some of the writers did the set tours. And Peter was famous for his, of course. He would do
Yeah.
some scenes and invite Hearties to do some scenes in the chapel, and it was just so fun. Yeah.
Well, when Peter was doing it, because we were doing like monitoring the whole stuff in Hope Valley, and then but you knew Peter was close because all of a sudden you said action. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's here. Because he always did a scene, or
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's funny.
What year did Martin Cummins, was that HFR2 that he was
He
there?
was there
He has
He's
not
been there a
attended
couple
many
times.
of them.
two or
He's been
three
there a couple
times.
Couple times.
He
I
was
just remember him
four.
telling the story about his dog.
Yeah, that
Oh
was true.
man,
It
I
was, I
I
was
laughed.
riveted. I laughed, and he just, like anything he says, I'm right there with.
Yeah.
My
That
other
was two.
was a two,
HFR
yeah, it was
two.
beautiful.
Yeah, that was so funny.
And then the other thing I remember really distinctly was two was the year, because it was two was the year that we had the very long lines for the autographs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Three.
No,
Well,
three.
three
Or is
did.
that three?
Three.
Okay, so three is the year. And it took much longer than we anticipated. And I remember after, it was a long day for the cast. And I remember Dan coming back to the podium after this whole thing and saying, I just want to give a shout out to the young actors who I think it was Cody and
Carter, yeah.
who else was it? Carter and I can't remember who else it was.
Grayson,
He
I
was
think
just like
Grayson.
Yeah,
all
Grace
about
was there.
it was all about giving them the praise for what troopers they had been and how gracious they had been to all the fans hours into this, long day. And it just, again, it was just like, as you said, Dawn, it was just the moment of realizing their kindness and their generosity. It's just an extraordinary group of people. And in moments like that, when there's stress and it's been a long day and whatever, it's just surprising to see, well, maybe not surprising to see that grace extended. It was really beautiful. And that'll always stay with me, is
Yeah.
the heart that he brought to that, just like he could have just walked out the door, but he was all about giving credit to somebody else. That's
Sure.
classic Viv too. We've seen Viv,
Mm.
like Viv is just always giving away the love, he
Mhm.
always has some,
All the time. Yeah,
always.
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
So Cindy, I have a question for you, because you've been there for 4 years. I mean, I'm not saying that one is better than another, but what one that, not just for a memory, or, we were talking about memories, which one was the most important for you? That they impacted you after you got home and just like, okay, that was something I needed, or something like that.
The first one, I think, was one I'll never forget just because I didn't know what to expect. So I was really
Mm,
kind of going into it blind. So it was just a very unique experience for me and stuff. And also, I think that one was the last one when the cast actually went around to the
right.
tables to say hi and take selfies and everything. So that one is one I will always remember. But I think they just keep getting better and better and better, ladies. You guys rock it, and it's just, you never know, you still don't know what to expect when you go.
Me
Even if
neither.
every time you go, you don't know what to expect, you don't know what you guys have up your sleeves for, for us and everything. The games are always fun with the panels. It's just it just keeps getting better and better. So I don't, that's why I keep putting in my name in to go back, because
Yeah,
it's
that was curious, because and there's a lot of repeat attenders. So,
there. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I was just,
but it's going back to see the Hearties too. You
Oh,
see,
yeah.
yeah.
you meet new ones, but you see old ones too. So, and
Mhm.
I've had a number of them come up going, "Oh, I remember you from last year or 2 years ago or whatever." So, yeah, it's there's just always something new every year. So it's just
Mm,
always worth going back.
Did
that's
you
nice.
have the year that they did still go around to the tables? Did you? I've always said that I wish I could sit down with every single Hardy to hear their favorite cast story, because we don't hear those like funny things that happen.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll hear about things like years later and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I never knew that happened." Like,
Yeah.
was there anyone that stands out for you from the
Some
cast?
of some of them. Well, Jada did.
Mm.
I remember Jada because she's so bubbly. She's
Oh,
just
Yeah.
so
He is.
effervescent, and she's like, "Hi, folks," and she's just right out there and stuff. And she was
Yeah.
just a lot of fun. It was just because everybody wants selfies, so they're like, "All right, let's hurry up and get your selfie, and
Yeah.
then you can ask the question," kind of thing and stuff. I remember Chris being very shy. Chris was very shy. Andrea was very pregnant, and Paul Green was very protective of her.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it
Yeah.
was just you know, it was just very fun. It was just that I treasure that memory because I know it's probably not going to happen again. So it's just one of those
Mm,
things. And I totally get why, I totally get it and
Mhm.
stuff. But it was just
Yeah.
that was probably one of the best memories that I have of just being able to have that experience.
mm. And we didn't know. I
So,
mean, the idea that the world would
Right,
close,
right.
and
mhm.
now we have just enjoy every moment,
But
no
I
matter
love the
what.
panels. I love the panels now
Yeah.
too, and I love that they're in chairs and more comfortable because it just seems like a more relaxed atmosphere than sitting at the
Mhm.
table like they did
Hmm.
before. So
Yeah.
they're a lot they're more relaxed. they're more experienced at doing this now too, I think. And stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's easier for them to do, and you see a little bit more naturalness in them too and stuff. So
Right.
it's
I
a lot
do-
of fun to listen to them.
I do have to share on that note on the cast piece. One of the one that stands out for me, I wrote it down, was because I do the social media for the event. Sometimes I get some of those behind the scenes moments with the cast, and I'll never forget Chris and Kevin before their first HFR.
yeah.
Like, and I think they had been like announced, right? That they were part of the cast. I don't know that it was 100% that people knew they were going to be there. And I remember taking a photo of them before they went out and going, "Are you guys ready for this? Like, have you, have you done fan events before?" And they're both like, "No, no." They were
Yeah.
both like, you could tell it
Deer
was
in the headlights.
yeah. And I
Totally.
just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like that was before they had any Heartie experience whatsoever.
Mhm.
And so to have that moment where they just didn't know what was coming their way was just, and they just looked like babies, and
They do.
just
Yes.
Yeah, and then
just fun to think of.
HFR5 was when they wore each other's t-shirt. Kevin
Yeah,
was
that
wearing
was
Team
fun.
Lucas, and
Yeah,
Chris was wearing Team Nathan and stuff. So that was kind of
Mhm.
fun.
Mhm.
yeah, that was very fun. So.
Yeah, we should point out that a huge percentage of the attendees each year are brand new. They haven't it's
Mhm.
not just folks who have come, year after year. This year, the majority are people coming for the first time. So
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
exciting.
every year it lands around on registrations like 70 to 80% every year it's happened are
Wow.
first timers, which is really really interesting. It's really cool to know that some people are still finding the
Finding
show
it.
for the
Yeah.
first time,
Right.
finding the event for the first time.
Mhm.
It's just really
But it's also
Mhm.
really heartening to hear because now there's so much more competition. There's other events that
Yeah.
are offered that people can, you can go to Kansas City and it's not a lottery. You can, as long as you, get in early or whatever, you can pretty much go. So it's exciting to hear that HFR still has that same appeal and to hear you say, Cindy, that it gets better each year because
It does.
it's hard. It's hard to top ourselves. It's hard to, when they have other exposure at other events and on podcasts and everything else, we're constantly challenging ourselves to think, okay, what would be fun and
Mhm.
how will Hearties learn more about these people that they love that they haven't already explored?
before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other super meaningful or things you want to say about HFR or that we haven't covered?
I have to say Jack Wagner gets me every time.
Yeah.
The guy, it's so interesting to me because he's got such a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
His character's humorous, and his behind the scenes can be humorous. But every year on the panel, every year he makes us all cry.
us
He
cry.
has some kind of heartfelt moment
Yes.
that just blindsides you, and it's like,
Mhm.
So
oh,
true.
so
You remember
special.
HFR2 when he sang oh
Yeah, yep.
All I need.
yeah, but he sang it to and
Oh, he sang
Amy
it to
Falk.
Amy.
Amy, yes.
Amy.
Right.
He came
That
down
was
off the stage and went
that
over
was
to her and sang to her.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Special.
I also always really enjoy Kavan and Pascale and their
Yeah, they're classic all the
Yeah.
time. Well, there was one time that Kevin got COVID, and
Yes.
Right.
yeah, it was just it was a
You missed
missing
him.
piece. It was
was awful, little-
truly you missed it. Yeah.
I think
Did.
that's one of the things for first timers. Well, in a world of podcasts and so many interviews now, I don't know if it surprises them, but I think for us, the first time seeing them in person was just hysterical, seeing the two of them and going, oh my gosh, they're so much like their characters and their banter. And they're like I remember the first time seeing them being really surprised how funny they were together and the way they just play off each other. And oh yeah, stealing the microphone from each other. on the
Oh.
panel.
Yeah,
I love
poor
So funny.
Brian trying to like moderate those panels when
Yeah.
Cabot is going. I mean, everybody has to get their little joke in. It's
Yeah.
hysterical and
Yeah.
And I
wow.
love Chris's
And not to mention
impersonation of it.
Ben
Yeah.
Rosenbaum is always hilarious.
Yes.
Rothgar comes
Rothgar,
out
I
and
mean,
sings again.
yeah.
Another
dead.
classic. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Amanda, I mean, yeah, they're all, we've learned so much about them, and
Mm.
just getting to observe them together and how they interact is really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
And of
part of the
course,
fun because when they're filming, they're not all together like that. So I think it's a rare
right.
opportunity for them to all be together. And sometimes they'll be answering questions or sharing stories, and they're kind of like, oh, I didn't know that. Like there's stuff that they learn about each other because they haven't all been together, It's fun.
Yeah, and Cindy, you bringing up Jada, I mean, she is the consummate professional, and that is what you see is these young
Mhm.
actors are so poised and so mature. And then of course you have Highland and
Ugh,
the little ones,
stunning.
the little ones who are just themselves. And we had the Taylor twins, before Highland, and
Yes.
oh my gosh.
they were ripping and tearing around that ballroom.
They were, yes. So that's great fun too. And then of course every year we have the Miller family doing the decorations.
Yes.
Always
Yeah.
sort of a sight to behold. And it creates so many photo opportunities for Hearties, because Christy and her girls um, just do these amazingly creative homemade
Beautiful.
touches that
They
Mhm.
do.
they outdo themselves too. So, yeah, a lot of very, you can expect from a corporation like Hallmark that the standard is going to be, a certain thing, and it has its own heart, but these are, you know, these are Midwesterners making their quilts and making gorgeous things, and there's something super special about that piece of it. So,
And
Mhm.
kudos to Elliot Wallach
yeah,
too and
Elliot
stuff.
Wallach
He's
is,
awesome too.
yeah, as our ridiculously humorous and self-deprecating host, and Tiffany, managing all of the live feeds and the cameras, which then captures the footage that you then get as bonus material on all your
Right.
feeds.
I,
And
I have to tell you,
Mhm.
I mislaid my camera at HFR2
oh
and I
no.
couldn't find it. So I was asking people, has anybody found a camera? Anybody found a camera? And somebody said, I think Elliot found a camera. So I went trying to find Elliot, and so he got word that it was my camera. And so I got the camera back, and there were some of the goofiest, silliest photos on there. There's even one of him with Brian Bird. So
Oh
it was,
boy.
it's like, oh my God.
That's one of
That's
that's
funny.
another hearty memory of everyone after Nate passed away. I did not know that was happening, that he
Yeah.
was taking all those sneaky selfies for Hearties
Yeah.
when they were
Sweetest.
taking,
Mhm.
and that just, oh my gosh, I was in tears scrolling through
Yeah.
all those photos that people were
Yes.
posting.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
one of those
Nate
things
was
that
our
you just,
transportation guy who passed away this year. And so he would always be on set with the antique cars. And he, while Hardy's climb into the cars, he would take pictures, but then he would sneak a picture in of
take a
himself.
selfie.
And
Yeah, he'll
special.
be missed this year for sure.
Very,
Oh,
very
Well,
definitely.
and we absolutely have to mention the mother of all of this, Janette Oke. I mean, it's a treat every year
that
to see
is
her.
very true, Lori.
I remember meeting her the first time at HFR1, and after she walked out, I just started crying. She's my
Mm.
favorite author, and I just could not believe that I was actually talking to the woman. So
Mm.
it's,
I remember when she walked in, I think it was HFR 3, to a standing ovation, and it was just like, wow, for an author to get a standing ovation. It's very, very special to meet her and to be with her. And wow, she never fails to bring the house down with her remarks. She
yeah.
always centers us with some
Mhm.
Mhm.
amazing moments. And then, you see her on the set tour too, usually.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have
Yep.
We get to say, well, some of us, because last year we didn't stay at the host hotel last year, but after we got from Jamestown and we were walking back to our hotel, all of a sudden this big SUV pulls up right beside us, and it was Michael Landon Jr. and Janette. So we got to talk to them outside the hotel for a few minutes.
Aw.
Oh, nice.
That was a pretty special memory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think meeting Michael Landon Jr. and Brian Bird is another one of those
Always
first
is, yeah.
goosebump moments too. That's great.
I thought we were going to talk about silly snafus. I have
Oh,
a
let's
couple.
do it. Silly
Yeah.
snafus.
I'd
All
be-
right. You can start us off with silly snafus.
I actually had two. My first was the very first HFR. Fun fact, I got left on set. Dawn, were you with me?
What?
Yeah, we got
I
left on
almost
set.
got left.
The
I was
No.
I was up there too, but
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's gone, and I took off running and caught a bus. But you
Yes.
guys actually got left.
Yeah, so
Yep.
the bus left, and there was a small handful of us, less than 10, maybe 5, 10, and we're standing, and we keep
Left
going like,
behind in
Yeah.
Jamestown.
and we're like, we're like, sure, the bus is coming back. I'm sure the bus is coming back. We kept like looking at our watches, kept getting later and later. I think Bobby was still there. And Bobby's like, I'm pretty sure the bus is coming. And we ended up a PA to take us.
Oh, wow.
Take us to the
Oh.
hotel.
Yeah, loaded
Yeah.
us up in his car and drove us to, and it was a scary drive. I will say that. I don't remember the PA's name, but
Yeah,
it was a little
was.
scary.
Yep.
It was scary on
Luckily-
the bus.
Yeah.
Well,
Because we had to
yeah.
stand. There were so
Langley.
many of us.
Oh.
We were standing room only on that last bus back to the hotel.
Dawn will never let that happen to
No,
anybody.
exactly. That has never
And
happened.
you
to
know
us.
what? That's why. That's
Yes,
why
exactly.
we have this.
That is
It's
why
like-
Dawn feels as strongly about it as she does.
Oh yeah, I know. I know what it looks like
Yeah.
when you're like, what's going on?
I
Yeah,
had a
no.
wardrobe, what's that called, malfunction. My second year, my pants split open. So thank God I had a sweater, but it was like you didn't have time to go back to the hotel. It was like the day we were taking pictures with everyone, and oh geez,
Oh
Oh,
no.
that's amazing. Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh,
word.
that's
fancy,
funny.
Well, there-
very fancy.
Was it HFR? Which one was it, Dawn, where the buses got lost?
Oh, there's two times at least
Yes.
two
Yeah.
years that
There was a year they didn't have GPS, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
one, and then
And
we
there was a lot
had
of construction
At
going
4?
on.
right.
Yeah.
That was the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
There's some behind the
always
scenes. We'll do a
Yeah.
whole nother.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a whole
high,
nother
hijinks
Valley
for
Voice editorial
My-
about little
hijinks.
behind the scenes things that.
My
that go on
favorite
around.
though, my other favorite one was, and I hope the Heartie is watching this because it's made me die. If you guys have been, some years we've had those cardboard cutouts on set, so they'll be in front of the different sets.
Mhm.
And I was standing on, Dawn knows this story. She can always. I was standing on Main Street, and I look over, and there was a Heartie that was out at the church, like all by herself. There weren't that many Hearties around. And the Elizabeth cutout, like I think Super Channel had done them that year, and they'd like taped them to the
Yes.
thing.
Oh,
So
no.
Elizabeth was taped to the railing. Well, the Heartie wanted a photo, and I kid you not, I saw her grab Elizabeth, go whack, and chuck her. Off to the side, and then went and took her picture. I don't remember. I almost peed my pants laughing. It was so funny, and like had no idea that I could see her from town. You know? It was so funny. It made me
Jeremy.
laugh so hard. But I totally feel her pain because I'm always the one who's like, I don't know that Hearties want to cut out in their photos, so I'm always fighting for that.
Yes, exactly.
That was funny.
I
I
think
wish I had it on video because
I don't know that this qualifies as a snafu, but every year I think the admins fail to appreciate the importance of eating.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
And so
It's 11 o'clock. We
It's
haven't
always
eaten.
11 o'clock at night, and the hotel restaurants are closing down, and we're like, "Oh, we have to get food. You know, it's just like it's
'Cause we have to go
madness.
to sleep.
It's
Lori-
madness because we have to go to sleep because we have 5 hours of sleep before we have to, before we have to do it all over again. And then last year's obsession was Harold's restaurant, which is in the Sheraton where the event is going to be this year. The
Bread
corn bread
pudding.
pudding I mean, Nanaimo Bar
Look,
was
Cindy
forgotten
knows what we're talking about.
momentarily. I'm just telling you, it was out of this world. I'll send you the picture for whoever's going to edit this so we can put it in. It was in a bathtub of caramel sauce.
Yes,
Like,
it was.
like soup. It was fantastic.
It
So I remember
was.
I got
we
there.
went 2
Have
nights.
some for me this year. Have some for
Oh,
me.
Oh, we
I
will.
got
Happily.
there late.
Happily.
We
And
will.
I asked if
So
anybody wanted to share one with me, and Mark said, "Oh no, you eat your own."
Exactly.
There's no sharing. Joey
No,
doesn't share
Like,
food.
good. What was that? Friends?
because you're just trying
Joey
to get
doesn't
calories in
share.
your mouth at that
Mark
point.
doesn't
It's
share
like,
bread pudding.
yeah, no,
That's
no, I'm
funny.
not sharing.
So
No.
Hearties, if you're going this year, don't ask Mark to share a bread pudding.
It's
with
not
you.
happening.
I learned that.
So that
Oh.
I'll have the wardrobe malfunction where I split my pants again. So from eating too much bread pudding and Nanaimo bar. So yeah,
I'm right there with her. Do not touch.
yeah, we do get a lot of
Funny.
steps during this event. So
Oh, yeah.
that's anyway. Yeah.
It all balances.
Right. Any other
That's right.
snafus we need to cover, or just, yeah, I mean, there's always the travel snafus and whatever, but you know,
Mm.
the thing is, it's a very supportive group and everybody helps each other. And the
It does,
very,
because I think my snafu, and it's not a silly one, it was a kind of a serious one, because you all remember one of our New England Hearties last year fell on the
Yeah.
sidewalk and broke his
Right.
head.
yeah,
Okay.
We couldn't really get into a hospital there in Canada because American and Canada don't mesh well with healthcare.
Yeah.
So we had these two ladies from Nova Scotia who volunteered to take her across the border into Washington.
Yeah.
And it's the Waselius sisters-in-law. I think I'm saying that right, sisters-in-law and stuff. And just out of the goodness of their heart saying, oh, we're not doing anything, we'll get her over there, took her there, stayed until she was seen in the emergency room, brought her back, and they're just, that's a Heartie. I mean, those two ladies were
exactly
just
right.
just the true sense of being a Heartie. It's just to step
Mhm.
up and just to be there for people. So
Mhm.
yeah, just a shout out to them and stuff, because that was,
Yeah.
and everything turned out well for Kathy. So she's
Yeah.
all good to go now.
That's.
Good.
I
I
think
feel like-
Go ahead.
Well, that right there exemplifies what sets our event apart. from
That's
those
what I was
other-
just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if that happened, I mean, God bless them, but like Kansas City, where there's thousands of people, you're going to rely on like the staff and the event people.
Yeah.
And in the Heartie world, Hearties are like, "What do you need? I'm here for you. I'll take
Exactly
care of
right.
it." You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, so many people
Exactly.
on the Facebook group, talk about I'm coming alone, I'm traveling for the first time, or flying for the first time, or all those things, and it's just a very comforting, reassuring group to be with because everybody helps each other. And
Yeah, one of our New England Hearties. Yeah, one of our New England Hearties. She was debating whether to put in for it, and we all said, "Oh, do it, do it." If you don't get picked, you don't get picked, but put your name in. And she got selected, and so she is just over the moon to be able to go and stuff. So yeah, so it's
I'm
going to be
loving
her
this-
first time.
it'll be her first time, Cindy.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
all right, everybody. Thank you for making time to just go down memory lane.
Well, thank you
Go
for
down
having
Main
me.
Street with us on memory lane. We will be back with lots more content, with lots more excitement about the Hearties Family Reunion. And it's so fun to see these preseason photos. What have you enjoyed, Cindy, so far about the little tidbits we've gotten?
The costumes.
What you
Changes in the
noticing?
costume. Well, the one that Aaron did with Kevin and the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the change in clothes, and the costumes are looking spot on. They're looking really
Very
dapper.
20s. We're really
Yeah.
liking, yes. Rosemary's skirts are coming up a little bit
Yes.
higher.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, Kevin's grown some hair over his lips.
There's a lot of debate
Wait,
about
isn't it
that.
Shorter. Yeah, very exciting. We finally got to see the governor, and
I thought it was interesting with Jack Wagner's latest Mountie Tuesday or Monday, whatever he's saying.
Me
And
too.
Viv was on the horse with
Yeah.
with
yes.
Kevin
With
and
his
Jack.
his
Yeah.
21st century
Yeah,
self.
with his
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
more
is
Viv on
Viv
horseback.
joining?
We had a
Yeah,
little bit of that last year,
yeah.
Joseph, with when they went out on the, yeah, when they
Yeah, when they
when
were
they
searching.
abandoned,
Camping.
you know, Kavan and Chris in the, yeah. Oh, and yeah. So, yeah.
And Edie with the horses. I'm intrigued with that.
Yes, Edie and the horses. It's coming. It's
Gonna
happening.
say,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, it always is. It
Always is. Thank you so much for joining us, Cindy. We really appreciated you added so much. And thank you for coming year after year.
Well,
Amazing.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me and enjoy this year and have a wonderful HFR.
We'll see you in Kansas City.
You will.
Dad and
You
I
will.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Hearties. Thanks for spending a little time with us. This has been Heart to Hearties. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.